Hello and welcome to In Depth. I'm Smriti Rastogi. In 2016, India signed a government-to-government agreement with France to buy 36 Rafale warplanes manufactured by Dassault Aviation. The deal was signed with a view to modernize the country's Soviet-era Air Force fleet, since Rafale is a multi-role aircraft capable of carrying out long-range missions. As per the deal, the first set of Rafale jets are expected to be delivered this year and the remaining ones in the next 6 years. However, in the run-up to the Lok Sabha elections, the Rafale deal has dominated the political discourse in the country. Opposition parties are alleging irregularities in the deal. Congress President Rahul Gandhi has been accusing Prime Minister Narendra Modi of paying more than what the government had negotiated in 2012 on a per-aircraft basis. But as per the CAG report, which carried out a comprehensive evaluation of the Rafale deal from 2007 to 2016, the NDA government fared better in terms of pricing and delivery. It says that the NDA deal to acquire 36 fighter jets in a flyaway condition is 2.86% cheaper than the price offered to the UPA government in 2007 by Dassault Aviation. Today, in depth, let's take a look at the key findings of the CAG, what the Rafale controversy is all about, and the political storm it has been generating ahead of the elections. The CAG report submitted on the last of the Parliament session broadly states that the Rafale deal under the NDA is 2.86% cheaper than that of the Congress government. Let's first take a look at the political reactions generated by the report.
Political reactions poured in soon after the government tabled the CAG report on capital acquisition in Indian Air Force in Parliament. In his response, Union Minister Arun Jaitley targeted the Congress and other opposition parties. In a series of tweets, he said, "The lies propagated by the opposition alliance have been exposed by the report. That has reaffirmed that truth shall prevail." Jaitley also criticized Congress President Rahul Gandhi, who led protests over the Rafale deal outside Parliament shortly before the auditor's report was submitted in Rajya Sabha. Arun Jaitley said the CAG report outlines that the terms of the 2016 deal were lower in terms of price, faster in terms of delivery, while ensuring better maintenance and lower escalation.
Well, the CAG report has completely vindicated the stand of the NDA government. It has blasted the big lie which was being spearheaded by the Congress party. The Congress president had manufactured a statistic, 500 versus 1600, a data which doesn't exist anywhere on any record. And on that manufactured data, he repeated that lie ad nauseum to the country on various occasions. Ordinarily, when the Supreme Court saw the pricing, examined the procedures, examined the offset provisions and found no substance, the controversy should have come to an end.
Congress President Rahul Gandhi addressed a media briefing on the report.
The fact of the matter is that the new deal that Mr. Narendra Modi signed gets India the aircrafts later than the original deal. Number two, on price. Again, document of the officers the technical experts, the economic experts. On price, they say, the final price offered by the French government, which is escalation based, is 55.6% above the benchmark, which is for firm and fixed price. Considering the future escalation till the time of delivery, the gaps in the benchmark and the final price would further increase.
The Congress and other opposition parties dismissed the CAG report, calling it biased. The party has alleged that Comptroller and Auditor General of India Rajiv Maharishi was Finance Secretary when the deal for 36 Rafale fighter jets was inked in 2016. The CAG report also says India managed to save 17.08% money for the India-specific enhancements in the new contract as compared to the 126 jet deal negotiated by the UPA government.
मैं राफेल के बारे में ज़्यादा जानता नहीं, जो अखबारों में आता वही पढ़ता हूँ। मैं समझता हूँ अगर जेपीसी होती तो लोगों को भी ये मालूम होता कि भाई है क्या मामला, क्यों छुपाना है किसी चीज़ को। अगर इसमें कोई चीज़ ऐसी नहीं है जो गड़बड़ की गई है तो लाना चाहिए लोगों के सामने। आखिर इंडिया इज अ डेमोक्रेसी, ट्रूथ मस्ट बी टोल्ड टू द पीपल। दैट इज ऑल आई वांट द ट्रूथ, नथिंग एल्स।
हर चीज़ में क्लीन चिट है, हर चीज़ में। उसका तो जवाब नहीं दिया गया। जो हमने इनको ज्ञापन भी दिया था कैग को, उसने भी नहीं देखा। ये गजब की सरकार है जिसने पहले तो लिख के दे दिया सुप्रीम कोर्ट को कि सीएजी की रिपोर्ट आ चुकी, उसको पीएसी ने देख लिया, उसको संसद ने देख लिया। ये कब बात है, किस महीने की बात है? और आज तक सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने दोबारा उस पर गौर नहीं फरमाया। और आज आखिरी दिन कैग की एक रिपोर्ट ला कर रख दी जिस पे बुनियादी जो विषय उठे हैं उस पर कोई टिप्पणी नहीं है। पिछले 3 दिनों से खुलासा हो रहा है। क्या कैग ने ये पूछा है कि बैंक गारंटी हटाने से कितना नुकसान देश का हुआ है? 7% का। कैग को ये नहीं देखना चाहिए कि 36 जहाज़ और 126 जहाज़ अगर कीमत लगभग बराबर हो तो कितना फ़र्क है, वो कम है या ज़्यादा है? कैग की एक रिपोर्ट है, सरकार ने लिखवाई है, जिस तरह से सुप्रीम कोर्ट से एक ऑर्डर लेकर आए थे, उसको पीएसी देखेगी और इसको स्वीकार नहीं किया जाएगा। इस रिपोर्ट पर हमको बिल्कुल आपत्ति है।
Submitted on the last day of the parliament session, the CAG report broadly states that the deal under NDA at 7.87 billion euros for 36 jets was 2.86% cheaper than the price that was being negotiated by the UPA government in 2012. The CAG has also said that money saved by the removal of banking and performance guarantees has not been factored in and that the benefits of these would accrue to Dassault Aviation. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
The CAG report evaluated the Rafale deal in terms of pricing, delivery, technical evaluation and guarantee. It stated in its report that the deal sealed by the NDA government at 7.87 billion euros for 36 jets was nearly 3% cheaper than the price that was being negotiated by the UPA in 2012. But at the same time, the auditor also highlighted the drawbacks of settling for a letter of comfort rather than a sovereign guarantee by the French government. The 2007 negotiations included a 15% bank guarantee against advance payments.
The Comptroller and Auditor General's report on capital acquisition in the Indian Air Force, containing a comprehensive evaluation of the 2016 Rafale deal, was tabled in Parliament on Wednesday. The report by the government's top auditor compared the 2007 and 2015 purchase agreement using the price of 18 fighters that were to be bought in a flyaway condition in the 2007 deal. In its report, the CAG has comprehensively evaluated the Rafale deal, its pricing and request for proposal received from other competitors. It has also analysed comparative pricing of other fighter jets available globally. As per the audit report, the French-made 36 Rafale fighters bought by the Modi-led NDA government are 2.86% cheaper than the price negotiated by the previous UPA government led by Manmohan Singh in 2007. With regard to India-specific enhancements like helmeted mountain displays, better radars, etc., the current deal was 17.08% cheaper compared to the 126 aircraft previous deal. It also stated that the delivery schedule of the 2016 deal sealed by the Modi government is better by 5 months. According to the original delivery schedule offered by Dassault Aviation in 2007, first 18 flyaway aircraft were to be delivered between 37 months to 50 months of signing of the contract. The next 18 aircraft, which were to be licensed produced in HAL, were to be delivered from 49 to 72nd months of signing of the contract. The schedule finally offered by the French side was 18 aircraft by 36 to 53 months after the agreement and the remaining 18 aircraft to be delivered by 67 months. This was better than the delivery schedule of 2007 by 5 months.
One of the things which the report has clearly given out is when we are comparing prices. Now, what has been brought about is that a lot of slush money has been paid or something like that. Now, you see, none of that stands water, because if anything of that nature had happened, then the costs would have risen substantially. But we are not finding that the costs have risen. On the contrary, the costs have gone down by 2 or 3 percentage points. So when we have got a deal which has taken place at a later stage, many years later, where logically the prices should have risen, despite that, the prices have been cut down. Now, it gives me a different sort of impression. It gives me an impression that earlier perhaps people were seeking a kickback, and now when all those factors have been removed, you have got a clean deal. So I think this is something which has come out very clearly in the CAG report. Whenever we have a G2G deal, that means a government to government deal, all G2G deals are above board. There cannot be any corruption in a G2G deal because there are two sovereign entities involved. These deals, there is a possibility of corruption if you're dealing with a private contractor, but it never occurs as far as G2G is concerned, as we have witnessed in the many deals which we have had with Russia, with the earlier erstwhile Soviet Union, most recently with the United States.
The CAG in its report also flagged drawbacks of the current deal to purchase 36 Rafale jets from France. It pointed out that the NDA government agreed with the refusal of the French side to provide a sovereign guarantee and instead accepted a letter of comfort. This means that if there is a breach of agreement, India has to first settle the matter through arbitration with the French vendors, in this case, Rafale maker Dassault. India has to exhaust all legal remedies before the French government steps in and makes the payment on behalf of the private company. The French side also did not agree to the Ministry of Defence request for opening of an escrow account to manage the payments as a measure of safeguard. The auditor also noted that in the 2007 offer, Dassault Aviation had provided performance and financial guarantees, which was about 25% of the total value of the contract. But in the 2016 contract, no such guarantees or warranty was given, which led to saving for Dassault Aviation, which was not passed to India, hence benefiting the vendor, in this case Dassault Aviation. Besides, in terms of engineering support package and performance-based logistics, the 2016 deal was 6.54% expensive. The Defence Ministry had argued that the 2016 contracted price was 9% lower than the 2007 price. However, according to the audit, the basic flyaway aircraft was bought at the same price as that of 2007.
In the new deal which the Indian government did under the present regime, the upgrade cost is lower by about 7%, I think. That is what the CAG has also brought about. It is a slightly lower cost. It's not too much of a differential, but it is a lower cost. The more important part of it is, the national interest has actually been maintained. I personally feel that not buying these aircraft in time when we should have in 2008, 2009, we compromise national interest. We are short of aircraft. We require these aircraft for the defense of India, and having these 36 aircraft now, which are going to come in within the next 2 years, will give us that requisite degree of defense which we require, which is essential.
The Rafale jet deal has become a major political controversy in recent months, with the opposition parties alleging irregularities in the high-profile deal. In September 2018, a delegation of senior Congress leaders met CAG Rajiv Maharishi on the Rafale deal, asking him to prepare a report on alleged irregularities in it. Once again in October, the Congress urged the CAG to carry out a forensic audit of the Rafale fighter jet deal and bring all facts on record to enable Parliament to fix accountability for the alleged scam in the contract. The party leaders presented a memorandum to the CAG along with fresh documents relating to the deal. In its memorandum, the party had said then that the CAG, being a constitutional body, must audit the Rafale deal and give its report as early as possible. With the CAG report tabled in Parliament, the Congress has now alleged a conflict of interest, arguing that CAG Rajiv Maharishi was part of the Narendra Modi government's internal negotiations as the then Union Finance Secretary. However, according to the Finance Ministry, Rajiv Maharishi had joined the Department of Economic Affairs under the Ministry of Finance as Secretary in October 2014. As the senior-most secretary among the 5 secretaries of the ministry that time, he was designated as the Finance Secretary on 11th November 2014. He continued as Secretary Economic Affairs and Finance Secretary till August 2015 when he demitted office. In a statement, the Finance Ministry has asserted that to claim that Secretary Economic Affairs as Finance Secretary would have dealt with the expenditure proposals from the Ministry of Defence is totally a figment of imagination and stretch of facts. With inputs from Astha Kulshresht, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
In April 2015, Prime Minister Narendra Modi announced that India will buy 36 French-manufactured Rafale fighter jets off the shelf from Dassault, the French aircraft builder and integrator. The Rafale was chosen in 2012 over rival offers from United States, Europe and Russia. This step was needed to upgrade India's aging fleet. But the opposition attacked the government over the pricing and bypassing the Rafale contract. In this report, we bring you a trail of events involving Rafale contract.
The Indian Air Force had sought additional fighter aircraft in 2001 to increase its defence capabilities. Keeping this in mind, in June 2001, the government in principle approved the purchase of 126 fighter aircraft. For this, a transparent defence procurement process was prepared in December 2002 for the first time. In 2005, an offset clause was also included to increase indigenization and its effectiveness. Subsequently, in 2007, the proposal to buy MMRCA or Medium Multi-Role Combat Aircraft was sent to the government by the Air Force. The then government approved the proposal of the Air Force to buy 126 fighter planes, and in August 2007, the process of bidding began for this. This deal is part of the Medium Multi-Role Combat Aircraft program, which was started by the Ministry of Defence to eliminate the difference between Indian Air Force light combat aircraft and Sukhoi. For this, in the bidding process of MMRCA, America's Boeing F/A-18E, F Super Hornet, France's Dassault Rafale, UK's Eurofighter, America's Lockheed Martin F-16 Falcon, Mikoyan MiG-35 of Russia and Saab of Sweden were included along with 39 Gripen-like aircraft. After bidding process, the Indian Air Force evaluated several aircraft and in March 2011 announced that Rafale and Eurofighter Typhoon fulfilled its criteria. Finally, Rafale was chosen from among 6 fighter jets. It was chosen because its price was less than that of the other fighter jets. Its maintenance was also found to be inexpensive. It was declared an L1 bidder in 2012 after its selection, and negotiations with the company Dassault Aviation began. But due to many RFP compliance and cost-related issues, this negotiation remained incomplete till 2014. When the Narendra Modi government was formed in 2014, it once again started working in this direction. During the Prime Minister's visit to France in April 2015, a new announcement was made about the purchase of this aircraft between India and France, where India announced that it urgently wants 36 Rafale flyaway aircrafts ready for flight. After this, in January 2016, an agreement was signed for 36 fighter aircraft between India and France. In September 2016, the two countries signed an inter-governmental agreement for the supply of the aircraft. According to this, the supply of aircraft was required according to the needs of the Indian Air Force within the set time frame, and supply of all the systems and weapons related to the aircraft is also to be confirmed to the standards set by the Air Force. It also mentioned that the responsibility of maintaining the planes for a long time will be of France. It was also mentioned that 18 months after the signing of the agreements, the supply of aircraft had to be started.
You see, when you're looking at the Rafale, the background basically pertains to the initial RFP which was put about, and the two contenders which were in the race, one was Rafale and one was the Eurofighter. Now, both the aircraft actually passed all the tests, right? And but the Rafale was found to be a superior aircraft in all parameters as it has been tested by the Indian Air Force. When the Indian Air Force carries out these tests, it carries out a totally independent test. It is devoid of any extraneous considerations. And they had given on that report that the Rafale aircraft is suitable for Indian conditions, especially the way we have to operate in the high altitudes over the deserts and in other our own operation scenarios. And so was the Eurofighter. So both these aircraft stood approved, but in terms of cost, actually, it was the Rafale which won. But then Now we come up a little bit later, and the same deal was taken up by the Prime Minister because the Indian Air Force was very concerned they were short of aircraft. Now the best which could be done in a very short time frame, because the aircraft are expensive and you cannot buy too many off the shelf, the Prime Minister went and bought, after following due process, 36 aircraft were purchased in a flyaway condition, and these will be coming in over the next 2 to 3 years. Now, in the earlier UPA deal also, there was India-specific enhancements which were required for these aircraft, and there was a certain cost to be paid. Now, these India-specific enhancements, it was really a technology upgrade, and that technology upgrade was what we paid for. Now, when we paid for that technology upgrade, it was not related to the number of aircraft purchased, because that upgrade was standard. So, if we had bought one aircraft, the upgrade cost would have been the same, and if we had purchased 100 aircraft, that cost would have been the same.
The government claims that this deal has been done at a better price than the UPA government. There was nothing said about the transfer of technology in the UPA's deal. It only mentioned about giving the license of manufacturing technology. But in the present agreement, MOU has been initiated under Make in India. Under this, the French company will promote the Make in India program in India. The BJP-led NDA government's decision to not reveal the price of the 36 Rafale fighter jets it agreed to buy from French company Dassault on the grounds of security invited a lot of criticism from the opposition parties. In November 2017, Congress leader Randeep Surjewala alleged that HAL was bypassed in the Rafale contract and also questioned the presence of Anil Ambani in France during Prime Minister Modi's announcement to acquire 36 fully built aircraft. He also alleged that the necessary government approvals were not obtained before the formation of joint venture between Dassault Aviation and Reliance Defence Limited. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi accused Prime Minister Narendra Modi of dropping the requirement of licensed manufacture by the state-owned HAL to ensure that the privately owned Reliance Defence Limited obtained an offset contract from Dassault, and the opposition pressed the government for a JPC probe into the matter. This despite the Supreme Court in December 2018 saying it found nothing wrong with the Rafale deal. A bench headed by Chief Justice of India Ranjan Gogoi said it had studied the matter extensively and that it was satisfied that there was no occasion to doubt the process. In the latest chain of events, the Comptroller and Auditor General has said that the NDA government's Rafale deal to acquire 36 fighter jets in a flyaway condition is 2.86% cheaper than the price offered to the UPA government in 2007 by Dassault Aviation. The CAG report on capital acquisition in the Indian Air Force contains a comprehensive evaluation of the 2016 Rafale deal. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of In Depth. You can also watch our episodes online on YouTube and Twitter and get back to us with your valuable feedback and suggestions. Thank you for watching.